you doing?
How are you?
Oh, Eddie's here.
He just stuck in.
Y'all in trouble now. Y'all in trouble now.
Yeah, he just stuck in. But I
Yeah.
see him.
Thought this was game time.
Yeah. Listen to that. That's so true, boy.
It's game time, but I'm gonna make
Very.
an exception now. Since it's October. How everybody doing?
Okay,
Good, how you doing, Nick?
Good.
And that professor up there, Glenn. What's up, Glenn?
Not much. You doing all right?
How's
Yeah.
life treating you up there?
Can't complain.
All right. And just down here rocking already. She got music in her head. Ethelene,
Uh-huh.
you got music in that headphone? Because you sure rocking.
Oh, I'm just rocking.
So go
I
ahead.
hear your music going over your head.
Oh, okay. We got a full crowd this time.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Eddie, did you paint your walls?
No,
Oh.
I have new lighting.
Oh. Make you look more glowy?
Yeah,
Do he look like Purple Rain?
it was looking too it was looking too orange for me, so I changed my lighting.
That's why. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought the walls were orange.
No, that's the natural color now, almost.
Oh, okay.
I told you
Yeah.
he's our technical director. He does it all.
Yeah, he look like Purple Rain back there.
Watch it.
He's the hardest working man in Zoom business.
Oh yeah. I said I kept looking at all the videos. I said, "Ooh, my house is orange," and I know it's not. So
Before you ask, Eddie, here she is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's back here
Whoa.
talking because not paying attention to her.
Jerry, where your baby at?
Oh, he's over there hanging out. Don't poke the dog.
Don't poke him.
Don't poke the dog.
You know, they say don't poke the bear, don't poke the
Bear.
dog.
Right.
Sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah.
Right.
She won't be there long, Joe.
No, she's purring right now, so maybe she likes everybody.
That's
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
let me scare her. Ooh.
Too interested in you want to get in trouble, don't you? You want to get
Yeah.
in trouble? Is that why you're looking down at the keyboard?
Well, let's get this show on the road. You know, it is game time.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah.
let me go. Let me go.
Yeah.
Not that game, Eddie.
Oh, okay. I thought he said game time. I'm getting ready to go.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome everybody to the, our first meeting for this month. And we're going to have them on the first and third Sunday of each month. So you can schedule accordingly. We tried a couple of different meeting times and, we come back to the original. And this is what works for most of us.
Right.
And we have priorities. Sure, there's sports, sure, there's fishing, but nothing like family. And that's why we're here.
Mm.
Now I am watching the game. It's right up there, but I
See,
don't tell nobody.
See, you're wrong, Jerry. You got me out of my game day.
Well, you gotta get one down in your sanctuary, brother.
Yeah.
Get one down there too. You got them everywhere else.
Well, Eddie's team probably already won, the Chiefs.
Yeah, they did.
And the Cowboys.
Wow.
And the Cowboys.
Okay, we're gonna start off with initial introductions. Just give us a brief introduction of your name, where you're from, and what your purpose is on Ancestry. And we have a couple of new people here. And Misha, can you hear me?
I can. How are y'all?
Okay, first we're gonna go with you, and then we're gonna go with Jordan, and then Janice. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, please tell us about yourself. And if y'all have a question for her, please, raise your hand and
Don't
ask and ask her a question. But welcome.
Thank you. So I think I saw y'all in August, but not September. But I am Misha or Tamesha. I'm based out in Dallas. Quite a few of my lines are from Arkansas, so Hempstead County, Miller County, Howard, Lafayette, and I feel like there's another one in there. Some of y'all, well, I actually found y'all because we were looking, Jordan and I, Jordan's my cousin who will introduce himself in a second. Found you on, we were looking at some of the Jet Match projects. And I think I matched, I can't remember how many people, quite a few people that are in this Jet Match project. So generally, my goal is just to reconnect with as many family members as possible, with as many lines as possible. And outside of that, Jordan and I are working on a few things to make Black family history research easier.
Great.
So that's it for me.
What are some of the things you're working on to make it easier?
So we are right now working on two things. So something similar to GEDmatch that allows us to explore our ancestry a little bit further than what we can with just testing on the sites. We also have a genealogy community that we launched, I think it was earlier in January of this year. So we had that on Clubhouse and Facebook, and now we have our own standalone community. And then eventually we will launch a few other things.
Another question.
Huh?
What is your participation like age group?
At this day, I would say I'm 34 today, but next time we talk, I might be 35.
Birthday.
If that helps. So millennial.
How is their interest?
So that's one of the things we're working on. I think Jordan and I both there's a lot of millennials that are interested, but a lot of what's out isn't made for people who are digitally native, or it takes a lot of time to do. Which is something that we're hoping to change, not just for millennial people, but for people of all ages, because this research is intergenerational.
Well, thank you for that intro. Jordan?
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Brunson from Chicago, but I live in New Orleans currently. I also, as Misha mentioned, we're cousins and came across this group via the GEDmatch project because we both have ties to Miller and Hempstead counties. My surnames there are Miller, Davis, Brunson, Lomax, Turner, Denman, and probably forget Nash, and there's probably a few others. Been researching since I was in high school. And like Misha said, we're working on a lot of projects within the space to make the research process, or even the process of becoming interested in family history research, a lower barrier, especially for Black folks. One other project that we're working on is an app for cemetery preservation and restoration, particularly focused on Black burial grounds. And so we've been working hard on that. But yeah, just happy to be here. I'm also in the GEDmatch project and manage a few kits that match folks in the group. So nice to meet you all.
That's great.
You too.
That's great. Can we
ask questions?
Yes, go ahead.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Directing to Jordan. Jordan, you said you're related. You're looking for family of Lomax?
Yeah, Lomax.
Hooks, Texas?
Okay. I'm familiar with Hooks. So my Lomaxes are originally from Abbeville, South Carolina.
Okay.
But they migrated they landed in the Hempstead County area. But I'm interested in that, Hooks, Texas. I do have some family in that area.
'Cause I
So,
had one of my cousins married a Lomax from Hooks, Texas.
okay.
And I'm from Miller County.
Okay. I'll take a look too at my tree, but if we could connect about the names, I'm definitely interested.
Okay.
Okay, Janice, please.
Well, I'm really lost because I don't have a lot to say. I don't know a lot. I just know that we're relatives through the Moss family. My side of the family is Josephine, who is kin to you, Jerry. And so that's where I know that I fit in somewhere around there. My father was Clinton Akins, and I guess I don't know very much more. I know about the Boss brothers because you sent me some pictures of them, but from that, I don't know anything else. I'm just new. I'm new to the game.
Great to meet
That's all I can say.
Well, I want to follow up with that. Janice is she's a cousin. She's one of our cousins, Josephine Moss, and the Thomas Moss, Luther Henry, Frederick. They were all brothers and sisters, and so that's how we're related. But our common ancestor is Reuben and Sidney Moss, Sidney and Reuben Moss. That's our common ancestor. So
yes,
and Janice, thank you for coming on, and your sisters. You have, what are your sisters' names?
Judy and Karen and Ramona.
And these are they have been on our meetings previously. And this is your first time being on the meeting.
This is my first time. That's correct.
And you just came from a trip?
Yeah, I just sort of drift right in.
Well, I want to personally introduce you to Val. She's up in the corner. Val
Yes,
Randolph.
you told me about Val.
With there she is, and these are cousins. You know, the good Lord has allowed us to see each other after these generations. Our great uncles and great aunts, we are the grandchildren of them. Mm-hmm. And this is the format we're using to communicate, and it's just totally awesome that we're able to communicate like this. And we're going to have a private meeting, you know, in the very near future, where we can explore a little bit more of you know, our family history. So thank you, Janice. And where's Karen?
Oh, she went upstairs.
When you get a chance,
to shower.
Get my cousin. Yeah, that's right. You tell her to be ready for, you know, for the show. Get her hair together and everything like that.
Okay, I'll tell. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna go on to Eddie, then Bree, and Tamara just showed up. Eddie, Bree, and Tamara, just opening comments, please. Eddie?
Sir?
Opening comments, please.
Opening comments. I like seeing all of you guys. Bye. Football. My name is Eddie Henderson. I'm a Moss, but we haven't found that link to all the Mosses like you guys are. I'm originally from Miller County. I was born in Texas County, Arkansas. Moved to California. Was raised in California until I left there in '75. Went to college. I'm a graduate of Prairie View A&M University. A degree in industrial technology. Married my wife. Met my wife in college. Married her 7 days after I graduated from college. We've been together 45 years.
Oh, nice.
I'm doing the research. My interest is researching family genealogy basically, I can't find the Moss link to Jerry yet, but I know it's there. But I like doing it, and I like helping other people at the same time. So that's a little about me. I have a whole list of stuff I can tell you.
Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate that. Bree,
Okay.
Bree, please. Yeah.
All righty. Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Green. Mr. Moss reached out to me. So thank you so much for that. I am Kimberly Green, who is the granddaughter of Lee Green. It appears that our connection would be through the Burnells. So Lee Green, my grandfather's mother, was Elree Burnell. Elree was the daughter of John Lilly Burnell, who was the son of Isham. I believe I'm saying that correct.
Right.
And so I believe that that's how I am linked to and to you all in some capacity.
Where do you live?
I live in Indiana, but I'm from Michigan. And so my grandfather Lee, along with his mother and several of his siblings, they came from Arkansas to Michigan in I believe in the 40s and 50s. And so that's where we were all pretty much residing in the Southwest Detroit area. And now I've been living in Indiana for a little bit over 10 years now.
How often do you conduct your research?
Really, it's sort of novel to me. I began conducting my research to find out about my father's side, which is not this side of the family, but I really was digging in because I did not know anything about my father, and I actually was able to find my father through Ancestry. So that was my initial drive to do some research, and through that I've been doing more digging just about my family history and where we've come from and all those things. So I would say within the last year or two, I've really been doing more research on both sides of the family now.
What did it mean when you found out about your father? Tell us a little bit about that, if it's not personal.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. I don't mind sharing. I'm trying to think of how I can keep this short. So I didn't know that I had a living father. Is probably the shortest way to put that. Through some things and through some hard conversations with my mother, found out that there was a possibility that the person who I thought was my father, who was deceased, may not have been my father. And so I started my research probably back in like 2000, and I believe it was 16 or 17. And again, I didn't know exactly what I was looking for. And so I had to do a lot of digging. So through Ancestry, once I did the actual DNA matches, I found out that I had what would have been a half sister, or who is a half sister, but it was she was going to either be a half sister or an aunt or a grandparent. And so I started digging through that, used Facebook to my advantage, and found out that it was my half sister, and found my father that way. And it has been a pleasant journey. It's been beautiful. I tread very lightly when everything came up, because I knew this was almost 30 years later, right? When I was finding all of this out. So he has been, his name is Marvin Prather, and he has been really a godsend in this time. I actually lost my mom last year. And so I met my dad almost a year to the date of my mom dying, about a little bit over a week shy of meeting my dad, a year to the day of my mom dying. And so it's been amazing. It's been like, I believe the timing couldn't have been better. And so it's been beautiful. I think I'm super blessed because I recognize that many people probably wouldn't have had the experience that I had. So yeah, that's me trying to keep it as short as possible.
We're letting that story settle in. What an amazing story. And I want you to know you're amongst family. There's a few people who you see on the screen, they are direct descendants of the Burnells. And they've done a lot of research, and you are family. Thank you for that story. Tamara
Thank you so much.
Tamara and then
It's
Joan.
good.
Tamara and then Joan, please.
Hello. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm Tamara. Yeah, that was an amazing story, Bree. And that's how a lot of things happen on here. It's like the ancestors are helping us. But I'm related to the Moss genealogy through City Moss. City Moss is who I believe to be my great-grandmother's, my great-great-grandmother's mother. And so that's how Jerry and I connected, because he matched my grandmother's and my uncle and aunt's DNA on Jet Match. So that's how I fit into all this. I haven't been on lately that much because I've been really, really busy. My computer was updating. That's why I had to do it from my phone. So I'm going to switch over to the computer so I can have my picture on there with everybody else. And that's it.
Could you tell us where you live?
I live in Los Angeles.
She's one of our humble leaders. She's helped us with a lot of our programs that we've started. Our GEDmatch program. She's a dentist, a professional dentist, so she helps us with our health issues. We can talk to her, and she's very efficient with GEDmatch, the science behind it. She does gives a lot of science information to also verify, our connections. So she's an awesome cousin. She's an awesome cousin. Believe me when I tell you. Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, Joan, and then Glenn. Joan.
Yes. Oh, did Janice leave?
No, she might be switching. She'll be back. Oh, hey, while we're there, I might have a technical technical challenge. If my computer locks up, stay on. I will have to log all the way out and come back in, but I will be able to join the meeting. And one of like Eddie, if you're here, take over, please.
Hello? Oh, yes.
Okay,
I'm glad
go ahead,
Janice is back. First of all, my name is Joan Harris. I do not know how I'm related to the Mosses. Jerry reached out after I put my after I had my test report uploaded. Jerry is showing up as like a fifth cousin or so. So I don't know how I'm related, whether it be through the Burnells or the Moss. And I have to ask Janice, do you have any folks in Arkansas?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
This is my maternal hold on one second. This is my maternal grandmother. You look a lot like her. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I do. Oh, okay.
Her maiden name was Collins, and her mother's maiden name was Broyles. My grandmother came from Mayflower, Arkansas, Conway area. So when I looked at you, you looked like my grandmother, so I wasn't sure. That's my uncle my oldest uncle who passed away years ago. But you look a lot like my grandmother. So I was hoping you were going to come back on because you look a lot like her. So I didn't know if perhaps.
Are you akin to the Meeks?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because that's the only people that I know that I'm kin to in Arkansas.
Okay. So I just saw your face. It just sort of brought back my grandmother's memory to me. Looking at your face, you look a lot like her.
We might be. I don't know.
Even your hair color is the same color. Your hair color is the same color as well.
Oh,
yeah.
It could be really.
Yeah. Anyway, so as I said, my name is Joan Harris. Also, as I said, I have family that comes from Arkansas. my main, and actually, I forgot who it was that's in Michigan. Bree, you said you had family in Michigan. I have family there too from my grandmother's side in Detroit area. They went there in like the 30s and 40s, up that way. And you said, is Green your your maiden name or your married name?
Maiden.
Okay, because I have on my paternal grandfather's side, his mother's maiden name was Green, I believe it was, and she was from Arkansas originally. So I'm sorry, I hear all these names and faces kind of are like sort of like lining up here. My main reason for getting into this was to try to find some information out about my father. Not my father, but his family. My father never knew who his father was. He was told one story, and unfortunately, anybody who knew whether or not that story was true has long since passed on. So I took the DNA test hoping it might help me in that search. And unfortunately, I've just, as Jerry scolded me for saying this, but I've gone down so many rabbit holes that it's just like I get a little overwhelmed. And so I'm trying to get myself more on track, but it's just a little bit difficult. My dad's from Philadelphia originally, and that's all. And then I know who his maternal grandfather was. That's about the extent on my dad's side. My mom's side is well documented. There's no issue with that whatsoever. They're all over the place on Ancestry. I currently live in the Albany area. I'm originally from Utica, which is my mom's hometown, and her maiden name was Stubbs. And as I indicated, my grandmother's maiden name was Collins. I am a state attorney. I work for Department of Labor. Please don't send any rocks to throw them at me because I work for Department of Labor. I have nothing to do with people getting benefits. I have nothing to do with that. I'm far removed from it, so please, no hate. And I'm 54 years old, almost 55. And I guess that's it.
Great job. So you're changing that term rabbit hole, huh?
Well, I'm still using it, but I haven't quite figured out a better spin doctor word for that. So I'm still kind of stuck with rabbit hole right now. So I'll think of a new one, Jerry. Just hold on. One of these days I'm gonna think of a better one.
What keeps you researching and not getting discouraged with some of these brick walls that you have?
Well, because my father just turned 90 on, not 90, pardon me, 80 on September 19th. And, you know, my father really wasn't very diligent in getting information while his mom was alive. I want to find out not only for myself, but for him, personal wise, just out of I admit curiosity. Another part is, you know, we have a lot of health stuff in our family, and I don't know if there's something I should know from other than, you know, past my dad's mom that there should be concerns about. I mean, you know, so that's also an issue as well. And I guess just general curiosity is what keeps me, you know, digging. And, you know, even though I've reached out to people who are showing as second and third cousins, which is kind of close, who I know are, I'm pretty sure are not my mom's side, they haven't gotten back to me, or the ones who have are like, well, I was adopted, so I'm not quite sure who my family was, you know, so they're looking the same time I'm looking and have even less information than I do. So like I said, just my sense of purpose and curiosity are what keep me kind of going. And I'm hoping there'll be some massive breakthrough at some point.
Well, you mentioned something, and say, team, let's see if we can help her with a very important task that when she does this, a lot of information will be revealed to her. She mentioned she had your father's 90 years old. How old was your father?
80. He just turned 80 on September 19th, and he actually was working on his birthday.
Yeah, you told a story about him, and I recommend to you for him to get a test to him, and then we were coming up with different techniques. How could we? Because he's reluctant to do that, but also we were more creative on how to approach him on that. Joan, I believe that would be one of your answers to your this brick wall you're running into. Any comments?
John, I was gonna ask if you had done any, what Jordan calls cluster research. I can post the videos here, but that's how we were able to figure out some of the missing lines that I thought, or that I wasn't able to figure out on my own months ago. And from there, I've been able to do, once I understood how to do that method, it was really easy to start figuring out.
That sounds, I'm not familiar. I mean, I've heard Jerry refer to clusters with regard to speaking of, which Moss cluster people descend from, but no, I'm not familiar with the process of that. That was Misha, right?
Yes, that's
yeah. I'm not familiar with that. So if you have any information on that, that would be greatly appreciated, to see if it might help me with breaking through a couple of brick walls.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Misha, for volunteering that. And that's that's what we do. We help each other. We have different tools that we use, and as you see, the family members are more than they want to help, and so that's what they're doing. Okay, thanks, Joan.
Thank you.
So we got Tamara. Let's go to Glenn, and then Eflin, and Val, and then I see that Aletha she's in her car. But let's go with Glenn, Eflin, and Val, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Glenn Proby. I'm related to the Mosses through Isham. And we're also related through the Kendricks and Burnell. So I've been working on my family history for about 5 months now. So I've done quite a bit. And I'm still hitting a brick wall when it comes to finding my maternal grandfather, his father and his grandparents. Anything beyond my paternal grandfather, I'm hitting a brick wall on that. Still trying to get some responses from people that may have some insight into some more history. I didn't mention, I'm in the Dallas area. I live in DeSoto, which is a suburb of Dallas. I'm retired. I was in IT for 43 years. So I'm enjoying my retirement now. Other than that, I've been attending these meetings every chance I got, and it's been real enlightening. And Jerry's been real helpful in getting me started on that moss branch of the tree. And I look forward to learning more information as time goes on.
Hey, Glenn, we just saw one of the chats. Somebody here is in that same area. Who was that put it on the chat that they're in the same DeSoto area? Which one of you?
I think it was the first young lady that spoke.
Yeah, it's Misha. So
Yeah.
I'm in DeSoto and Oak Cliff, but yeah.
Oh, you're in DeSoto also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may be a neighbor.
Probably. Well, it's not that big, but yes.
See, that's the value of communicating. And look at how how we're using the different tools, and just like you said, you're the same area now. You're close to each other, so that's really a blessing. So I'm sure you'll be exchanging numbers and whatever it takes for that to take place. So thanks, thanks, Brian. Eflin, please.
My name is Eflin Taylor. I'm from Lexington, Missouri. I'm on the Moss side. My dad was a Moss. I'm doing this so I can learn more because my family never talked much and I don't know much. So I appreciate all y'all info. I'm done.
Well, she matches me with the Burnells. And when she does her research, she's thoughtful, she's caring, and she's always giving, she's planting seeds. She plants a lot of seeds of connecting the relatives, and she calls me or she says, can you check this person out? This person's interested. So she's a recruiter. She recruits family members from all nationalities. And she's a gem.
Well,
So
thank you.
that's Evelyn.
Appreciate.
Okay, Cousin Val.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Valeda Wynn Randolph. I'm the daughter of Ella Moss Wynn, and who is the daughter of James Monroe Moss, and who is the son of City and Reuben Moss. So I'm a Moss. I'm connected to Jerry. I've been involved with this genealogy group for a while and thoroughly enjoy it. I'm excited about today because I get an opportunity, and I thank you so much, Jerry, to meet some new cousins that are probably like first cousins or first or second cousins, maybe.
Yes.
But they all stem from the children of City and Reuben. So this is a great time for me. I'm in the process of retiring. I've been in jobs. I think someone mentioned the Department of Labor. I've been involved with the Department of Labor for many, many years in operating a business that I had, which was bidding on Job Corps centers and operating those centers in different parts of the country. I worked, prior to that, I worked for many years for RCA and GE and had an opportunity to do a lot of international travel to different countries where we had projects and business, which was very, very good for me as far as getting out and seeing other parts of the world that I had never been and never thought I would be. But right now I'm downsizing since I've been at retirement stage and packing boxes and all of those nice things that you do when you retire and you downsize. And if it wasn't for my sweet daughter, I don't know what I would do, because she's the one that keeps everything organized. But I'm enjoying life, and I'm enjoying being a part of this particular group because there's so much that I've learned as far as how to do research and how to connect with one another, et cetera, that has been shared by Jerry and many others that are on the team. And I've used it to support a younger group that I'm involved with out of Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, if anybody's ever heard of that area. It's a coal mining town of northeastern Pennsylvania. And basically that's it. I went to Bennett College, graduated in business education, taught school for a period of time, and then moved on into management. So that's me. And so glad to meet my new cousins.
No offense, Leda, but I was going to ask if you're a school teacher. You have a very school teacher look about you.
I was, and enjoyed
you have
it.
That look.
I love the younger kids, to work with. The teenagers, they're the ones that I've spent a lot of my time with, because I like to know about their generation type and study them and know what's best as far as helping them to map out plans for their future. Yeah, enjoyed it. Thank you.
Where did you say you live now, Val?
I live in Williamstown, New Jersey right now.
New Jersey. Okay.
Yes, but I was born in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
I see. Judy told me to make sure I talk to you. I don't know what she wanted us to talk about because I don't know
That's
you. You
okay.
don't know me.
We're relative.
But she wanted me to be.
We can find things.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me say hi to you. Oh, look, my sister
Oh,
wanted to say
please.
hi to you too.
Here
Hi,
comes
Val.
Karen.
Where are you?
This is Karen. Yeah, this is Karen.
Hi,
Yeah, how are
Karen.
you?
Oh, how
Good to meet you.
beautiful. Yes. Good to see
Yeah.
you. Uh-huh.
Well, great to
Beautiful
meet you.
sisters.
Yes. And hello
Yes.
to all of our Moss family members today.
You're doing
I'm
fine.
cooking.
And Karen, her son
I'm
is
just cooking, so I'm
Jordan. Her son is
One-
Jordan Rogers, and he's one of our younger genealogists. Is really helping us, put our family portrait together. And these are the sisters, Val.
Yeah.
It's her, Janice. These are three
Two
of
of
them. Two of them, but there's more who want to get a chance to talk to each other and just sort of socialize and just enjoy each other's company.
Well, hopefully, Jerry, at some point in time, we can all agree to have a Zoom meeting just for those ladies, our family, the
Correct.
females in our family, and just spend the time of sharing information.
That would be
Okay.
wonderful.
I
That'd be
love
great,
it.
Val.
I love it.
Look forward to it. Take care.
To you too. Thank you for being here.
And that's in response to like my meeting invitation. This last one, I had mentioned that if you want to have private meetings, set it up. You'll be the co-host, but get their email addresses, their telephone numbers, and set up the time. And I'll work my schedule accordingly. And then we'll have a private meeting and start going over some of the information that we need to do in different branches. We want to go to different branches, and sometimes you cover more that way. But a lot of the ideas come off of our group meeting here. This group meeting, and it brings about a lot of enthusiasm and different suggestions. So, and Val, she just a couple of days ago, she sent me the email. Okay, I want a group meeting. I wanted to be with Karen and Judy and some of my other girls, cousins. I said, okay, I'll hook it up. Now, Val, you get a chance to see them. There they are.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful cousins.
All right.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, Athea, you're driving or you riding? Athea down below?
I'm driving. Can you hear me?
Yeah, could you say a few words for us, please?
Hello, everyone.
Opening comments.
My name is Althea Shirley, and I came on, I guess about 6 or 7 months ago. I was born in Korea, and I always wanted to know, who I was connected to because I was adopted, and I never had any connection with biological family. So 7 months ago, I decided to go on Ancestry through some referrals from a friend of mine. And I was able to, through my research and the help of, let's see. I'm trying to think and I'm driving, so please forgive me. But anyway, with Jerry and with Eddie, I was able to do my research and I found my father. So I found out that I am my father and his family lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, and then they originally came from Alabama and Georgia. But anyway, I've been really finding a whole lot. And I'm so thankful for being able to have found this group and to just hear all the different stories. And also, I live in California, in Riverside, and I'm retired. I worked for the County of Los Angeles for 41 years. And so I'm just enjoying my retirement, and I'm enjoying being able to find out more about family. That's it.
And
that's it.
Well, I understand that you have met some of your real close relatives, and you also, in your journey discovering your father, you were able to go and visit his gravesite.
Yes, I actually went about a month ago, August 29th, that weekend. I went to Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was able to meet several cousins. My father died in 2004, but they were all close to him. And one of the cousins actually took me to the cemetery because he was in the military. He was a captain in the army, and so he was buried there, and we found his burial site. So I was able to go there. That was very heartwarming, and just to be able to be with family, it's amazing.
Well, thank you for your story, and we appreciate your contributions. And this is another one of the values of having these meetings. You can join in wherever you are. Like, she has priorities, she's driving, but she still can join into the meeting and join the meeting, and that's great. And you know, that shows dedication that you are taking the time to do that too, cuz we appreciate it. Okay.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And all of you.
I want to share my screen. I want to share a couple of pictures with you, and then I'm gonna ask Misha. Is that Misha?
Yes.
Will you be able
Yes.
to? Are you on the computer? Will you be able to give us a brief demo on that clustering at this time, or should we wait until you're more prepared with that? Do you know? Are you familiar with sharing your screen?
Yes, but I'll let Jordan do that. He's the guru. But yeah, we can do.
Oh, so you volunteering, Jordan? Okay, Jordan, you got it. Jordan, can you set that up in it?
Today.
But well, I'm
Sure.
gonna show a couple pictures, and then could you give us a brief demo on that process, please? And Joan, you'll be able to talk to him, and he'll be able to help you individually. Won't you, Jordan? Good, thanks. So let me show a picture.
Jerry's good for volunteering people. Is someone gonna say no after Jerry says, "Oh, you'll do it"? Won't you?
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, here we go. Can you see this picture?
Oh, yes.
Okay, this is my second great grandmother. This is City Moss and Reuben Moss.
Blocking off, I can't see.
Here, that's a picture of them right there. And the only pictures that I had of them was the pictures that are on their grave marker, the headstone. They do have pictures of their faces, but this is one that there they are together. And on the Moss side, these are some of our common ancestors. Here's two of them. There's City, and that's where Tamara's connected with me from the Roberts part of it, for City, and then that's Reuben Moss right there, my second great grandfather. And so there they are, and these are the father and mother of my second great uncles and aunts, Aunt Josephine and my uncles, Uncle James, Uncle Henry, Frederick, and John, and my great grandfather Thomas Moss. So I'm gonna show you a picture of the Moss brothers. What they did is they took in 1910, these two right here are great grandparents. They lived in Prescott. But between 1910 and 1915 or so, they moved to Los Angeles because that's where the sons were. They were porters, and that's a laudable job to be porters. And they traveled the country, and they brought their parents out to California, where both of them, it's a sad story. And Tamara knows, both of them, they passed away in 1918, and she passed away first. And and Grandpa Reuben, he passed away about a month later. So some say it might have been the Spanish flu, and I say it was just out of love. But there they are, Reuben and City. That's our common ancestors on the Moss side.
Yes.
And let's see if I can get these guys up here.
I did a baked potato for you.
Okay. Let's do this over here.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the morning you may want them with, I like to dice them up and do potatoes and steaks.
Have you seen this picture?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, these are you see the brothers right there. We're gonna have to deal with our cousins over there. Who's doing all that cooking? You got some Karen, Janice, you doing all that cooking?
Yes.
Like, you're gonna have to send something vicariously through the screen. So we hear your recipe and everything. But anyway, these are the Moss brothers. These are my great uncles. This is Henry, Luther Henry, right there, the one, and I have a number of pictures of him. And this is James Monroe. He's one of the Moss brothers, and he has a degree in theology from Howard University. He was one of the first graduates. A couple years, he has a theology degree from Howard University, and Val, which is his grandson, she has a copy of it, and she sent us copies of his degree from Howard University in theology. And he traveled, he was a traveling pastor. And right here, this is Samuel Frederick, the one that's sitting right next to him. And so these, Luther and Samuel, they moved to Los Angeles, and they were on the east side. And their parents are buried on the east side at Evergreen Cemetery. And I went there to visit them about 4 or 5 months ago. I went there to the site, this Greenwood Cemetery in Los Angeles, East Los Angeles, and that's where they live. And it has, some of the records have, like Samuel, he worked at the Van Nuys Hotel, that's on 4th and Main. That's one of the major hotels at that time. He worked there at that hotel. But they were porters. That's how they got to California, and that's our California connection. We have a lot of relatives that migrated through the railroad. And I haven't been able to identify this brother here. I don't like to speculate, but it's probably John. That's a brother John. And their brother is my great grandfather. His name is Thomas, and he's older than them. Thomas was the oldest, Thomas William. And then they had another brother named William Thomas. And those names they got those names from the slave owners. They have an order how they started naming their slaves right before they were freed. And so that's how a lot of our names were given to us, and they follow the same pattern of the slave owners. And ours was named William Moss. That was a slave owner in Hempstead County, Ozanne County, Hempstead County, Ozanne Township. And I have that records on the 1850 census.
Jerry, I also have family that ended up out west because of the railroad. They're up in Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon.
There's a number of them, and you'll notice that we have a lot of relatives that are in the LA area, and the Burnells. A lot of the Burnells are in Orange County, Riverside County. As a matter of fact, I met a lot of my cousins, just like Val. You're looking at these Moss cousins. I've met a whole. The Burnells have reunions too. The Burnells are that's my father's mother. Her name was Ethel Burnell, and she's part, Isham Burnell is, her great grandfather. So the Burnells and the Mosses, they all were in the same cluster. And when I say the cluster, right in that southwest Arkansas, that Nevada County, Columbia County, all in there. Hope, Prescott, Willisville, all those areas that you see in the census, that's where our clusters are. And you see Box, Nixon's, all of them, they were in the same area. And do you know they migrated together when one got opportunities, and when they had, the whole families would come. And so that's for the great migration for opportunities. But we still have a lot of family members that are there, and they're the foundation of the family. They're still there. Okay, Jordan, are you ready for your presentation? Let me make sure I got
I'm
you.
ready. I'm going to join from this other device so that you all are able to hear me okay,
Yeah.
because this computer can't really handle too much.
Recording in progress.
I haven't touched it.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yes.
All right, can you see my screen?
Jordan on there.
Yes. Can everybody see that
All
screen?
right, so this is a look at my,
Okay, go ahead.
all right, so this is a view of my mother's DNA matches, just to show, because I think I've clustered her matches more thoroughly than any of my other kids. But what Misha shared in the chat is a YouTube video. It's sort of like a workshop of how to cluster your matches using what's called the Leeds method. It was developed by a genetic genealogist named Dana Leeds. And what it does is it combines color coding to make things easier to look at with really the clusters that Ancestry DNA or wherever you've tested that they've already provided. So if you look at any, here, I'm gonna go to someone else. So this is one of my mother's half siblings. If I look at shared matches, it's just gonna show me the people who both my mother and my half aunt connect to. And this clustering method really relies on these groups of shared matches that Ancestry or MyHeritage or 23andMe, wherever you've tested, have already set in place for you. So you'll notice that there are like different patterns almost of dots. Some of you may already use these groups or the groups function on Ancestry DNA to organize your matches. So maybe you've looked at these shared matches like, oh, okay, well, this connects on my Moss side or this connects on another side. And you just start adding folks based on how you connect or how you think they connect. The method that's described in that video, and I'll give a quick example, highlights not just the groups that you have an inference about or think that they connect on a certain side, it also highlights groups that you don't know much about. So if I look at I think all of hers might have a name. Yeah. I'm gonna look at another kit really quick. Because I have groups that I've yet to identify. And what this method relies on is the information that's in those matches trees. So that's one thing that we should be looking at in terms of our DNA matches, not just who else they're matching, but the information that they have and the information that's in their shared matches trees, because that's how we could figure out how we're connecting to people. I actually used this method to figure out my mother didn't know who her biological father was. And looking at her matches, most of her matches are actually on her biological father's side. And I used this method to narrow down different groups based on how they relate to one another. And then looking at, okay, what children did they have?
Excuse me, when you say groups, what do you mean by groups?
So I'm gonna give you a visual example. So you see all these dots here, right? These colorful dots.
Yes.
Each of these dots represent a family line. So if you picture your family tree or your pedigree and all the lines you have, each of those dots represent one of those lines. Some of them are subgroups. So if you have your paternal line, your direct paternal line, well, your paternal grandmother's line is an offshoot of that line. So it's sort of with a subcluster of your paternal line. As you can see here, there are surnames attached to some of these groups, but some of them are numbered because they're isolated groups of matches, like they may match one another. And I know they may fit on a certain side of the tree, but I haven't figured out, okay, what surname or what people within my direct lineage fall on that particular, within that particular group or connect to the people within that group. I'm gonna see if I have a kit that doesn't have any matches, and I'll just run through an example.
Well, tell me, like more specifically, like Joan, for example, how would we start with her to help her find out, who her father's side of the family, the information that we, you've given this presentation for? How will we approach her?
So let me take a look here. Basically, it's a process of elimination and isolation. Okay, yeah, so this one's not clustered. There's no groups. So the leads method, which is what I use to cluster my matches, the purpose of doing it is to identify your 4 grandparent lines, or at the very least, your 8 great-grandparent lines. Now, how good your matches end up coming out depends on how many matches you have in total, especially closer matches. If a lot of your relatives haven't tested, then you're not going to get as much information. So that's really why it's beneficial to encourage people to test. But sometimes it's just a matter of waiting. I've seen many, many more matches come into the fold over the years. But I'm going to show a quick example. So I mentioned it relies on finding your 4 grandparent lines. What we start at, so if you see these numbers here, the CMs or centimorgans, which just measures how closely related you are to someone or how much DNA you share, we're going to look at a certain range of centimorgans for our matches. All of these matches are too close. And what I mean by too close is we share too many of the lines that we descend from, where we wouldn't be able to isolate a certain line. We want to focus on cousins for the most part that only share a few lines with us, so we could say, okay, they're related on that side. Whereas if I use someone like my sister, we share all the same lines. And so that wouldn't tell me anything. So it's really a procedural thing with matching. I think it's easier to do and then try to understand it than to try to explain it, which is why the workshop video is very procedural. But where you start is you look at your matches that have 400 centimorgans or less, because they don't share as many lines with you. And this is about process of elimination, which I think would be helpful for Joan. This one's close enough at 404. So what we do is we create a new group. And I go over this in the video. We're just going to call this group 1 for now, even though I already know how this person connects to this kid. But that's helpful to know. If you have any sort of inferences, like in the case of Joan, where she might know more about her mother's side or maternal side, then you could make those inferences or that additional information you can kind of add in the notes. But what I'm doing here is I'm adding Emmett Cannon to a new group. And this is someone with Miller County ties. I'm going to click on Emmett because this focuses again on the shared matches. Those are the pre-made clusters, if you will, that Ancestry gives you, and it tells you how you might connect to that person. Okay, so we added Emmett to this group 1. Now what we're going to do is add everybody in Emmett's shared matches to this same group 1. So I'm just going to check everyone on this whole page. Now, I already know for this person, because I'm looking at one of my dad's first cousin's DNA kits, I already know that this cluster is on that cousin's paternal side because I connect to these people. They're on a Davis line, most likely. But if I don't know anything, I'm adding people to a group. And what I'll eventually want to focus on are things like these trees. I see people have 229, 91. People have information in those trees that I can kind of corroborate and compare to one another. And if I see the same people in those trees, like if I saw the name Davis, the surname Davis in these matches trees, I would have more suggestion that that would be where the connection is coming from. So the first objective is really, after you've clustered, figuring out how people are connected to one another within these groups that are created. So I'm creating a group now, and I would want to understand, how do these people connect to one another? And once you do that, you learn more about the group and how that group connects to another one of your groups, because your ancestors, you know, you got here for a reason. And your groups end up intersecting at a certain point. So you want to understand which sides are marrying which sides, or which two ancestor or your ancestral groups, you know, came together to form one of your other grandparents. So that's really what this is. It's a very visual process. I know this particular group is taking a long time because there's a lot of people in it. Not all groups will be the same size. And so once you've clustered your matches, you'll want to focus on those larger groups. Oops, just made a mistake. Okay. So I actually accidentally canceled out of everything. It takes a while. It takes patience.
Yeah, well, we understand that process. Thanks for that. Thanks for that demo. On the fly, on the fly like that,
no
man.
Problem.
You know, that's great for you to, you know, you're a stand-up researcher to do that and show us that presentation. So we have an idea, and you know, you probably work with Joan in a little more personal level at another time. But that means that we all got to do our work. People can't do it for you. We can help you, but you got to have the determination, the drive, and the patience. And you sit back and the truth will be revealed. It's going to come. It's just a matter of time. And every day, this is treasure hunt. This is big sea, big, you know, ocean fishing. This, you know, we go for whales. You know, we go, this is big time. And the information that you have to be disciplined. You have to be patient with the information you have. You have some valuable information. A lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth. But see, God is the source, and we're the messengers. And so you have a task, and the truth can't be hidden. And you don't want to walk around here just throwing it up against the wall. You got to use some discretion on how you share the information. Okay.
Jordan, I'm sorry, may I ask Jordan a question?
Yes.
This is a specific question. You have cannons in your tree. Were any of them from Philadelphia?
So Canon is a line that married into my Davis line. So I don't know too much about the cannons, but I know that those cannons that you saw are from Miller County, Arkansas. I don't know where their origin before that is, but I could probably take a look.
Okay, because the cannons figure kind of closely in my matches. They tie in with artists and a couple other names too. So I was wondering, because I'm a Canon. Oh, I know that name.
Misha?
Yeah, those are Miller County folks for
Misha?
Thank you.
Yes.
What is the purpose of the GEDmatch research group project?
What is the purpose of ours?
No, not necessarily yours, but the you know, we're a member of that. You know, we're part of that GEDmatch research group. We're part of that. From your perspective, what is the purpose of that study that GEDmatch is using our GEDmatch kit number?
Yes, so I think depending on which ones you're a part of and what's meant to do, so I'll keep it to the one that Jordan and I started. So for us, we got together because we were talking to a bunch of people just like this, but I think we have close to 700 people in ours. And so for us, it was like, okay, we kept hearing surnames from different places, and some of them like Prather or Harrison, or, you know, depending, some people are completely on the East Coast. They're just now for the first time realizing through the project that they had relatives who might have been slowed down river or just through different migrations ended up in different places. So the goal was really to reconnect families to each other using genetic genealogy. So that's the short answer, but there's more, you know, like there's a column that says most recent common ancestor, and that will show you like how many generations ago your connection could potentially be. And there's some science around the centimorgan matches and how that relates to you. So I would say the goal is, you know, however your group chooses to use it, if it's like, we've seen somewhere, it's people who are from like Williamsburg County, South Carolina, which actually would be beneficial to some of us in Southwest Arkansas, because there's multiple enslavers that moved from South Carolina to Southwest Arkansas, and you have Black families that were split apart by that. So those are some of the ways that it could be used.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. Responding to that question.
My pleasure.
Eddie, got a question for you. Do you have any tools that you want to share with the members today?
Well, I have a video I want to share with you guys. It's something. Matter of fact, I got to do a presentation this coming Saturday on genealogy. But this is something that was on national TV that I want to share with you guys.
Go ahead.
If I can. And I'll explain it after.
How long is it? How long is it?
About 5 minutes. Okay, can you see the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right. This is a clip that Soledad. So many companies that will trace your. Uh-oh. It's too strong. Or family tree. Genealogy
all previous years combined. And most of those were in the US, where people say they use the test. Distant cousins.
Okay, all right.
Do y'all see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Need more voice.
The audio is not real good.
Okay.
And for everyone looking for their roots today.
How's that?
It's a little better.
It's just after midnight in Houston, Texas. And the Rand family sets out for a family reunion. More than 300 Rands descend on the city of Atlanta.
We tell our children, when you have nobody, you have family.
Please work your way to the back. At every reunion, a tradition, the family portrait. But there is a mystery surrounding the Rand family. Missing link that very few know about. Ruby C. McGee is known as the family historian. That is part one. Everything she's learned over the years is recorded in these huge albums.
There she is.
From that, Rubystein was able to locate her great-great-grandfather in this cemetery. Buried here, William Harrison Rand, the patriarch of the family, and a white man. With this discovery, Rubystein's curiosity grew. She knew there had to be more. Using the internet, she traced the Rands back to London, England. They were a family of doctors and architects who came to Virginia in the mid-1700s and fought in the Revolutionary War. And according to these old documents, slave owners.
I used to hear them say that my great-grandfather, Harold Rand, was run out of North Carolina to Mississippi because he had a Black woman living with him and his wife, and he came to Texas.
Here, Lodi, Texas. From old census records, Rubinstein put together a family tree. William Rand fathered 7 children by his white wife, Sally, and 6 children by his Black mistress, Anne. Court documents show the 2 families lived close to each other. While little information exists about Anne's life, family members believe she was not a slave. Rubinstein's research led to an even more surprising discovery. Martha Hicks, also William Rand's great-great-granddaughter, and Rubinstein's white cousin.
A letter from this wonderful lady. I said, "Dear Mrs. Hicks," I went on to tell her that I was the great-great-granddaughter of William Harrison Hale Rand. And boy, did she really write me back. And she said, "Now we are cousins, and you either call me Martha or Cousin Martha." She won me over back there.
Have you met your Black cousins?
Not yet.
That was about to change. 2 days later, we arranged for Martha, her husband Carl, and their granddaughter Natalie to meet their Black cousins in Lodi. What was that moment like?
I wanted to cry. I really did.
Before I met you, I wasn't sure if you were going to be excited about having Black cousins. There are a lot of people who that would not be good news.
It would not have happened 20 years ago. I think we made quite a bit of progress. It's an honor for us to be an example of progress.
Yes.
It's
Well put.
an honor.
Well put. There he is.
Handsome guy.
The Rands, a heritage born from a family tree with Black and white roots.
Kodak moment.
Cousin Martha still attends reunions and even visits with some of her newfound relatives throughout the year. She researched their genealogy further to find even more descendants on both the white and Black sides of the family. The next Rand family reunion is next year in Houston. With so many
The reason why I wanted to share that, Rubinstein is my 4th cousin. That whole half of it, the majority of those people in that picture are my cousins. I found out through DNA and genealogy that they were my relatives. My mother and my father also lived in the same community in Texas from Lodi, Texas. So when they did this, when Soledad did this this little series on it, they were actually covering my family too. I just want to share that with you through genealogy and stuff like that. Research, I found this out.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yep.
That's cool, Eddie.
Yep.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have some closing comments, but I want you to know for the next meeting, I do want to have an agenda. And one of the things on the agenda, please do some research. And
Hey,
yes, Karen, Janice, we're gonna have some research, and we're gonna go back to like your research from 1850 forward. In 1850, I have some records of slave schedules, and the slave schedules in Hempstead County, Ozan Township, and the slave owner is William Moss. Well, one of my cousins, Tommy, he has done some research on the white Moss family, William Moss family. And my young cousin, Jordan Rogers, he has done some research. And when he looked at one of our, Jordan, he saw one of our meetings and he saw Tommy talking about the William Moss branch. And Jordan, he did more research and then he came up with some additional information where he thought the family of who the family of William Moss was and where they came from. So we're just going to dive into it and take a look at it because it's best, the more information we have and the more accurate it is that we can verify, I believe in the future it's going to help our descendants. A great example of that, in California, just this last weekend, there's a beach in Manhattan Beach. It's called Bruce Beach, B-R-U-C-E, Bruce Beach. It was a Black family who bought some land on the beach in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
And the Mr. Bruce, he worked the railroad from Oregon back and forth to California, and his wife, she maintained the hotel and the eatery and that kind of thing. Eventually what happened is other people started coming, other Blacks started coming in the area, and they developed them a neighborhood right on the beach so Black people could have a place to go and socialize on the beach. Eventually, Ku Klux Klan came in and all these people who were in government, and what they did is they put intimate domain. You know what that is? That's stealing your land. They did intimate domain and got all those properties.
Pardon me, Jerry.
Got those
Jerry,
people.
pardon me,
Yes,
it's eminent domain.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Eminent.
Thanks for clarifying. That's the attorney in the group. So can I continue my story, Chris? No, I'm just anyway. So what happened is
I've worked for the city and we've done it. So I remember that we actually did it when I worked for the city.
Yeah, and they got the land and they made it into a park. And so eventually through lawsuits and communities getting involved, family getting involved. Now what's happened, Governor Newsom, he has signed a decree, he signed some laws, they've given that land back to the Bruce family. They're giving all that land back.
Amen.
They're negotiating on it right now. And so when we talk about it, when we talk about history, you know, we need to know our history. But again, I focus on my cousins that I see here on this screen. I don't go too far back, but I figured if I'm going to be in this here position, I better have some kind of answers. I better do some research. And I did research the slave holder for where I got my name, this name Moss. It was from a William Moss, and 1850 slave schedules. They had slave schedules for us, and they had regular ones for them.